Shalom, all praises to Yahweh, Ba'ashem, Yahweh Shai, Ba'ashem, Harakah, Kadash. Double honors unto the apostles and elders of the great millstone who rule well, and shalom to the hopeful elect. It's a biblical commentary on the book of Joshua, the 20th chapter and the first verse, and it reads, The Lord also spake unto Joshua, saying, Speak to the children of Israel, saying, Appoint out for you cities of refuge. Wherefore I spake unto you by the hand of Moses. And this goes back to Numbers 35th chapter and Deuteronomy the 19th chapter, I believe, where basically the law was written of basically a man committing manslaughter, basically. In Deuteronomy it gives an example of, you may be in a wood, two men in a wood, one man's, you know, going, striking the axe against the wood, and the head of the axe slips off and hits his brother fatally by accident. What he would do is he'd run to one of those refuge cities to avoid being you know basically murdered, because of the Avenger of Blood, basically the kin of that, the man that was slayed by accident would seek to redeem their blood. um and it was to basically you'd run to that city of refuge, and basically when you're in a city of refuge you'd be in there to dwell, and then the high priest, basically you wouldn't leave until the high priest sees to your your matter. But if you were to leave, basically what would happen is, excuse me, it's luckier. If you were to leave, then the blood would be upon your own hands, because that was the sea of refuge. All right. So it was the reason was to avoid you being slayed. So if you're outside of that, then you're basically putting yourself in harm's way. All right, so to speak. So read on. Speak to the children of Israel, saying, Appoint out for you cities of refuge, whereof I spake unto you by the hand of Moses, that the slayer that killeth any person unawares and unwittingly may flee thither. Yeah, so manslaughter, not a murderer, all right? And they should, and don't get twisted, like you wouldn't have murderers flee there, but that's why they'll be seen to and judged accordingly, you know, depending on the case, And they shall be your refuge for the avenger of blood, okay? They shall be a refuge for the avenger of blood. Excuse me. And when he doeth flee unto one of those cities, shall stand at the entering of the gate of the city, and shall declare his cause to the heirs of the elders of that city. They shall take him into the city unto them, and give him a place, and he may dwell among them. Yeah, those six cities were basically evenly partitioned throughout the land of Israel, on the east of the River Jordan and the west of the River Jordan, right? Being in the north, so on the east side, it'll be in the north, Manasseh, then on to Gad, I believe, which was in, the middle, then Reuben at the bottom, and the top one was with Naphtali, I believe, middle one in, I can't remember the middle one, but I know the bottom one was in, on the west side, was in Judah, all right, I believe, if my memory serves me correctly. But these were leave cities of Levites, all right, because it was told that the city, Levites would have the suburbs. I believe it was 2,000 by 2,000 would be the measurement of the, 2,000 by 2,000 by 2,000 by 2,000. A square of that would be partitioned to be the city of the Levites, right? Oh shit. and um, and that's why it was fitting because obviously they're they're fittingly appointed to be in that position. Okay, so uh, and when he that fleeth doeth flee unto one of those cities shall stand at the entering of the gate of the sea, and shall declare his cause in the ears of the elders of the sea. Yeah, Levites, they know the law, so it'll be fitting for them to go to that place. They shall take him into the sea unto them, and give him a place that he might dwell among them. And if the avenger of blood pursue after him, then they shall not deliver the slayer up into his hand, because he smote his neighbor unwittingly, and hated him not before time. And he shall dwell in that city until that he stand before the congregation of for judgment. All right. So he's gonna dwell in that city until they stand before the congregation for judgment, and until the death of the high priest that shall be in those days. Then shall the slayer return and come unto his own city, and unto his own house, unto the city whence he fled. And I believe, least the matter be judged and he be deemed innocent, then he would be able to go back. But if the high priest didn't see to it, then he can just return to his house after the death of the high priest. And I'm taking a guess. Some of these cases may be really complex, man. You know what I mean? As in, you know, no witness to the act being done. You know, so it may be that the call of the high priest just to be like, well, just leave it to the spirit, for it to be judged, or I'm really speculating, you know, but who knows, who knows. Verse 7, and they appointed Kadesh in Galilee, in Mount Naphtali, and Shechem in Mount Ephraim, and Kareth Arba, which is Hebron in the mountain of Judah. So yeah, so it was in Naphtali, Ephraim, and Judah. And on the other side of the Jordan, by Jericho eastward, was assigned Bezer, the wilderness of the plain, out of the tribe of Reuben, and Ramoth in Gilead, out of the tribe of Gad, and Golan and Bashan, out of the tribe of Manasseh. So same thing, they'll evenly partition. And I believe all these names actually have a meaning, because remember, a place of refuge is a rest from what? From a form of evil, a bad time. All right. Now Kadesh, actually, I gotta look. I'm gonna look these up in the Hebrew. But from what I see, from the little research I did, Kadesh is Kodash. I can't remember what Shechem is. All these words allude to some form of rest and comfort, and holiness. Basically being sanctified to be partitioned off. You know, as an escape. All right, and really, the these cities, you could take them as the same kind of form of rest that we've entered in. It tells you in I can't even remember the scripture. I remember what the scripture number, Ezekiel 11:16, how it says wherever they're dispersed I shall be a little sanctuary, and that's the same kind of thing. These are little sanctuaries unto these men that are escaping a form of wickedness that was done, by accident, but you know, they have to flee. These were the cities appointed for all the children of Israel, and for the stranger that sojourneth among them, that whosoever killeth any person that unawares might flee thither, and not die by the hand of the avenger of blood until he stood before the congregation. So with that, I pray you're edified. Shalom.